Welcome back to 23-Minute Reads with me, Mya D. This is kind of like my virtual book club because in these 5-minute or so videos, I share with you my takeaways from my current reading. Right now, that is Dancing in Blackness. As a part of my 23 to 23 challenge, I'm reading 23 minutes per day, every day, as an action of self-love, as an investment into myself, and as a way of providing myself with some consistency in an ever-changing world. Hoping that you will join me along in this journey by liking this video, subscribing to the channel, and dropping some comments down there in that comment section so that there's an actual dialogue going on. Having in mind that while I have several decades of experience as an educator, as a dancer, and a curriculum writer, I'm not the know-all-be-all for this book. I'm simply providing a space for dialogue. Well, this week I read pages 278 through the end, and let me get my notes so I can give you my 3 takeaways. Feel free to go ahead and like and subscribe while I get these notes. Takeaway number 1 is staging. So in the Dance in Malawi and Southeastern Africa section, we find this quote from Osumare. I knew I had to strike the right balance between traditional intent and Western staging techniques that would attract an international audience. End quote. The first time I read about staging of traditional dances by people outside of that culture, I felt like it was a way of devaluing the form. Like the form wasn't good enough to just be shown the way that it naturally happened, that it organically happened. I now better understand staging in these cases to be similar to scaffolding. Teacher scaffold, right? So scaffolding creates a structure in which teachers can introduce and build increasingly complicated ideas while supporting students' comprehension. We know that dance conveys concepts and ideas, and it does it through culturally patterned sequences. So in this case, staging provides support for those outside of the culture, right? So those people that might be seeing the performance that are not necessarily from that community. And it allows them to better understand those culturally patterned sequences. Staging in this case allows Staging in this case allows outsiders to better read the choreography. Got it that time. Takeaway number 2 is cultural bias. So I wanted to believe that when ADF did this festival that we were past this point, but that wasn't necessarily the case. So I was a little surprised to read this quote in the Black Dance Initiative ADF's Black Traditions in American Modern Dance section. Here's the quote. If we are ignorant of what traditional Yambalu is like and how it differs from what she created by using some of its elements, then of course we mistakenly assume that what we are seeing is a clone of the traditional dance, and then we stamp it ethnic. End quote. So this quote is from philosopher Gerald E. Myers, and it speaks to the cultural let me slow down. I'm getting excited. It speaks to the cultural bias surrounding source material, the body using that source material, and how critics or observers might be engaging with that source material. While white modern dancers using indigenous forms that they were not native to as source material were considered progressive and modern, the same action done by Black choreographers gave them the ethnic label. In part due to the critic or the observer's lack of knowledge / engagement with the source material, it created a cultural bias, a prejudice. So that means that in this case with like Catherine Dunham's using Yambalu, if the critic or the observer is unfamiliar with Yambalu, then they can't see the innovative techniques, the modern aspects, and the contemporary practices that Dunham applied to the Yambalu, and they just label it as ethnic. A cultural bias is suggested, which is a preference, and it then does not promote further investigation of those source materials or the product that is made out of those source materials, which what makes it okay for Dance Magazine to then say that they're not going to cover the first Dance Africa at the Brooklyn Academy of Music, because they felt that African dance wasn't dance. There was a lack of knowledge and understanding around the source material, and therefore it supported a cultural bias. Takeaway number 3 is debunking. In 1989, Dance Magazine was present for the inaugural Black Choreographers Moving Towards the 21st Century, created by Osumari. She had this to say: I focus on the diversity of styles by Black choreographers as raison d'etre of the project, debunking any stereotypic images that audiences, both Black and white, might have of Black choreographers. Black choreographers are not monolithic, and neither is a career in dance. For me, this book disrupts notions and debunks myths about what it means to become a dance scholar, what path you might take to become a dance scholar. And that's both comforting and motivational to me. But how are you feeling? What are your thoughts about the book? Make sure you drop them in the comments below. Stay blessed, spread a good word, and I'll see you again soon.